So welcome everybody. Super excited and grateful to be here with all of you today. And again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here with us, right? And the focus is really on how to build $1 million business in 90 days. But first of all, I just want to give a big thank you to Hannah, Gilbert, Scott Ashton, Luis, like the entire team of Oceanside Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this event, but also for everything that they do. So this workshop is not going to be like no other. It's not about me, my background, accolades. It's all about you. So I really want to get started and respect all of you guys' time. So first, I got one favor to ask from all of you is, to make sure you get as much value as possible today, I really want you to think about like, what's the single biggest challenge that you would like to solve today, right? And why? Because as Hannah said, we want that interaction. So you can post it in the chat. You can also just private message it to me if you like, if it's private. But my goal is really to be able to answer and solve all your challenges during the workshop, if time permitting. I'm also willing to meet with anyone in attendance to help you resolve the problems as well that you might have in your business that we can undertake today. But this workshop's, the content will be about 30 minutes or so, 30, 40 minutes, maybe a little bit less. And then we're gonna leave about maybe 15 to 10 or 20 minutes towards the end for some Q&A. There will be some little interaction between as well. So, but today's game plan is really, really simple, everybody. We really want to give you a roadmap that you can start using, as of Monday or as of today to start improving your sales and marketing results, right? But as we all know, business is numbers. And if we know the numbers, then that's how we can kind of play the game. This workshop is really for someone that wants to learn the strategies and the systems to build $1 million business, but it's not afraid of taking action, right? Within the next 90 days to get those results. The workshop is not for someone that will take these strategies and take no action, right? Or if you just want to learn how to get followers or likes on social media. But we're going to focus just on results today on the workshop. And yes, action is required, and we'll give you all the tools to execute the strategies if you want to stay to the end of the workshop. So, which is extremely important. Now, we're going to just focus on 4 areas, really simple, that are going to help you. These strategies are going to help you how to separate yourself from your competition and really ideally capture 99% of the prospects that your competition is overlooking. So so the 4 areas we're going to cover is going to be generating more leads, closing more sales, getting higher conversions, and then increasing profits, right? So if this sounds like, the right presentation, then let's get started. So I want to set the stage a little bit though, and unpack this thing that they call the 80-20 rule. You probably have heard of it. The 80-20 rule is applicable in many areas of our lives, right? But as business owners, what I've known to be true is that 20% of everything we do during the day is generating 80% of our total revenue. So really what it breaks it down to is you only do a few things each day that make you the most of your money in your business. So, and if you knew that these 5 areas that I'm about to share with you and the ones that are on the screen make up that 20%, you'd feel a lot better knowing that that's all you have to focus on, these 5 areas, to really get better results out of your effort. So one big takeaway that I want you all to really take away from this presentation, if you don't take anything else away, is that really small incremental changes produce massive results to your bottom line. And what I'll be referring to a tool that I use quite a bit with my clients and with businesses. It's called my profit growth calculator. So let's take a quick baseline for a fictitious business company, right? And to demonstrate how the profit growth calculator works. So let's pretend this company gets about 1,000 leads a year, right? This could be any business, but they just have 1,000 leads coming in. It could be phone calls, it could be websites, it could be opt-ins, whatever that may be. So they're converting about 25%, right? So 25% of that website traffic is actually converting into a person that actually is interested in doing business with you and is actually handing over money to you, right? So they're converting about 25%. So they would have about 250 paying customers, right? Now, out of those customers, let's say on an annual basis that the customers buy about 10 times. So maybe they come in about a little less than like once a year, right? And then the average amount that they're spending is about $100. So your business could expect to generate about $250,000 in revenue. And if they had a baseline profit margin, so we're just going to go with 25%, just for demonstration purposes, we could see that their take-home gross profit is about 62,500, right? Now that's just a baseline. So, but what we want to do within our business is maximize every single potential area in our business, right? For one thing, maximum cash flow and business growth. So what we're going to be looking at is, what would happen if we would increase 10% in this business, right? By applying the strategies that I'm going to show you here in a little bit. So the 1,000 leads move up all the way to 1,100, right? So they were able to increase their conversion rate too because of some strategies that I'm going to show you in a little bit. Their conversion rate bumped up a little bit. So this would result in, of course, more sales, right? And then if they were able to at least get just one more item or service out of the entire year with some better strategies to their customer base, they would bump up from 10 to 11 transactions per year, right? It's not a huge jump, but then if they were able to increase their pricing, right, their average dollar would go up from 100 to 110. And look at this huge jump. It'll jump from 60,000 all the way to, it'll jump from 250 to 366, right? So then the next step is their gross profits, right? So they're able to do some cost cutting. So then they're able to increase their bottom line. So then the business goes up from 60,000 all the way to 100,000, right? So you're up in six figures now. Now, most businesses think that 10% is a lot, but 10% is actually really, really, really conservative after you know what I'm about to share with you in a little bit. So let's look at what would happen if you have a 50% increase for the company, right? So they jump all the way from 1,100 leads to 1,500, right? The conversion rate is improving as well because I'm going to show you a couple of strategies that you can implement. And then now look at the number of sales. They went from 563 or 303 all the way to 563. So they're getting more customers to buy more often because I'm going to show you a way that they're staying in front of them more often, right? Now, their price is able to increase too because they're able to provide more value, which I'll show you in a second as well. And then look at the revenue. It jumped all the way up from 250 to 1.2 million, right? And then, of course, the gross profit margin increased too because they did some cost cutting. And then the business went all the way from 62,000 all the way to 474,000. So just paying attention to what's going on, that's going to move the dial on their business, and just focusing on these 5 areas. So you really start seeing the growth within the business by just, again, focusing on these 5 areas. And for this business, it was 760% growth rate, right? And so if you're a business owner, you're feeling frustrated and overwhelmed that, you don't know how to move a business forward. The good news is all that bad information that you kind of pick up out there. I mean, it's really just focusing on these 5 things and that's it. So this is just to show you that you can really financially transform your business if you just stay focused, right? So, okay, so let me show you the breakthrough strategies that like the world top businesses that are surviving now through COVID, that they are really focusing on. And it's really just these 5 areas. So we're going to start first with leads because leads seem to be a hot button these days. And, like with most businesses, and they need to know the answer and how do I get more leads coming in the door? So here's the fundamentals that make the phone ring, like make the people walk in, make the website forms come flying in your inbox. The secret is really to have something good to say, right? You have to have what I call a market dominating position that's going to separate you from all your competition and then literally make it a no-brainer for people to want to do business with you and not your competition, right? And then, of course, the second is, you have to say it well, right? It has to be really compelling, right? And it really has to be a no-brainer for them to want to listen to you and for you to get their attention. Then the third one is you have to say it often, right? So, this is what we find in media, and just repeating the same message over and over and over again. I mean, that's really why the big brands waste, millions of dollars on brand advertising on television, right? And TV commercials. They just say it over and over and over again, right? So this is really the fundamentals of marketing. So again, I was going to say it's a little interactive. So I really want you to think about what types of marketing are you using right now for your business, and type those in the chat because it'll help you. It'll help us answer some questions, but it'll probably help other people, within the webinar. So, just type in some other types of that you're using for marketing in the chat. Now, this is the formula to get more leads. Okay, so is that you have to understand exactly who your market is, right? You have to know your ideal perfect client. It's extremely important. And you have to put a name to them, like literally give them an identity and then continue to market to their market and only them. Um, the problem is when I hear a business owner that tells me that they serve anyone, I know they're kind of headed in the wrong direction because if you're for anyone, you're essentially for no one. So you really want to be really clear on who your market is. Like, who are your best buyers, right? And then your message, of course, right? I'm going to share with you a formula in a moment that's how to create a compelling message that it's really going to get the attention of your ideal perfect client, your market, and then move them to act. So your message is really, really important. And then third, of course, it's the third component formula is for generating more leads is media, right? So you need to consider the media outlet that your ideal clients are on. Like what magazines do they read, right? What shows do they watch? What radio stations do they listen to? What podcasts do they listen to? What are they turning into? And how are they really consuming information? And that's where you really want to put your message, right? You want to match your market, your message, and your media all together to make sure that you have the formula for generating more leads. Okay, so if you want to know the secret to marketing, this is a hidden formula that will enable you to literally dominate your profession. So you must enter the conversation that's taking place in the head of your prospects, right? And you're like, okay, Juan, that's great, but how do I do that? So the conversation revolves only just two things, and that's it. There's a problem that your prospect has and doesn't want, right? And then there's a result that your prospect wants but doesn't have, right? Now, there's a hidden formula that will enable you how to create marketing so powerful using this knowledge that your prospects will come to the conclusion that they will be an absolute idiot to buy from anyone else but you. And you are in luck because I'm going to share with you on the next slide. So this really is my secret weapon to compelling messaging that converts. I call it the conversion equation. And by the way, if you're taking notes, this is the time to start writing it down because it's going to be really a game changer with your business. So if you write this down, the very first step in a compelling messaging is to interrupt, right? You got to get their attention, right? Because if you think about it, we're bombarded by thousands and thousands and thousands of advertising and marketing messages every day. So if you really want to stand out, you have to get their attention. You literally interrupt and break their daily routine and get their attention. And normally it's like in the most outrageous way that you can think of, right? So the interrupt is your marketing's headline, and it must address the problem your prospects have and they don't want. Now, the second is you want to engage. So you want to be able to provide a compelling promise, right? That's going to take this attention that you're earning by having a compelling, outrageous headline. And then you want to be able to engage them and really let the viewer or even listener or reader know that what you're about to say is really, really, really important to them. Now, the engage is a marketing's sub-headline, right? And it must promise the result that the prospects want but don't have. And next, it's you're going to educate them, right? So we're just going to make our case, right? There's two types of buyers that are listening to your messages. There are one, emotional buyers, and then two, there's logical buyers. So you definitely want to play to the emotional side and hit people in the heart, right? Where they're going to be moved to want to do business with you because you're pressing on their pain. And then you're also moving them to pleasure that they want, right? But there's also people that are really logical, right? They just want you to make the case, right? They just want you to show the numbers or with outcomes or case studies or testimonials that you really know what you're talking about. And so you use this opportunity to really educate them. And then finally, your offer. Your offer is extremely important. Now, your offer needs to be clear and it needs to be very compelling and a bold call to action. Now, write those words down. Call to action. Think about it. So, what's the end result you want them to do, right? Do you want them to download your free ebook on off your website, or do you want them to fill out an appointment to get on your calendar right now, or do you want them to buy from you at this very moment because like you have a limited supply of product and stock available? So you need to be thinking about what's the offer you're making in your ads, right? So let me show you an example. So then we start putting it all together. So here is a case study, cosmetic surgeon from Phoenix, Arizona. Um, so this doctor specializes in mommy makeovers. So what they were generating about 35 leads a month. They were running Facebook ads about $6,000 per month. So this was his original ad, right? So nurture the body that will provoke true envy. And remember what we just spoke about. Let's enter the conversation taking place in the head of your prospect, right? So now let's apply what we just learned, our magic marketing formula. So at the market, so we defined their prospect was women between 30 to 45 years old with 2 or more kids. Their message, this is where we really were able to dial in, want the body you had before you had kids. And then the media. So then we found Facebook. So they were on Facebook. So we did a Facebook pay-per-click campaign, direct mail, radio, and TV. Now, the results, they were generating about 30 to 500 leads per month. That was a 1,143% lead increase after applying our formula to their marketing. Now, so I hope you can see that getting like 50% increases in these 5 areas is really child's play. So let's continue with another example. So this is a case study from a chiropractor up in Minnesota. They specialize in fibromyalgia diagnosis. So they were getting about 3 leads off their newspaper flyers, the ones that you get like on the Sunday paper. So they were spending about $2,000. This was their original ad, right? Pretty straightforward. So now let's apply our formula that we just learned. So if we look at the market, so their market was women between 18 and 85 years of age and with massive pain through the body. So this was a message. We actually compiled a little video. It was a little report in essence, but it was, if you're misdiagnosed, you're suffering needlessly, right? And then of course the media that we picked, because we found out where they were at. So it was cable TV, Facebook, and then direct mail and radio. And this is the results that we generated. They generated 137 leads in 4 days. And this was a more than 4,500 lead increase. Again, by applying our marketing formula that you just learned today. So here's another example. This is a daycare up in Garland, Texas. This was in 2019 that we did this one. So this was their original ad, real colorful, real nice looking, right? So they mailed this out to every home within 5-mile radius. They got no calls, right? So again, we applied our formula. So we said, okay, so who's our market? The market that wants their kids educated. So we came up with the message. We guarantee your child will be reading at a first grade level prior to entering kindergarten. And this is where they marketed. So it was networking. They had a lot of salespeople. So we did some direct mail, radio, TV, Facebook ads as well. This was the template that we utilized to be able to apply in their marketing that we ran for them. And this is the result. So they generated 58 leads within the first week. And obviously they only had so many, they were about 2,500 square feet. So they were limited by site, right? So they had to stop running the ad. So I really want you to write this down. So the secret to generating more leads is really the market, message, and media, which is extremely, extremely important. So kind of like a little check-in here. So I want to make sure, what's your sales process, right? So really think about what's your sales process and type it in the chat. And if you're thinking, I'm not sure what my sales process is, so what are the steps that you take to have someone put money in your pocket, because that's really what it is, right? So what is that sales process that you do? And again, it could help others as well. Um, so let's look at the next step, which is conversions, right? So how do we put money? How do we have customers put money in our pockets, essentially? So how do we convert leads into paying clients? Now, the secret is to create a compelling offer. Extremely important. So let me share with you something that I call the buyer's journey, and it's what all prospects go through, right? When making a buying decision. Now, it's about the psychology of how people buy and how we need to create messaging that really meets people where they're at in their journey, right? That are buying from you. So most of the people are future buyers. They're considering buying a product or a service sometime in the future. And when they're looking at marketing messages, they're looking to have their questions answered. Why should I buy, right? And then once they get that question answered, they become a soon to buy buyer and they start looking at why shouldn't they buy? They want their objections overcome, right? But look at this, and less than 1% are actually now buyers who are actively selecting service providers or vendors. And so the question that they have on their mind is, who should I buy from, right? So you want to look at all your marketing messages and see, are you targeting the future buyers? Are you targeting the buy buyers, or are you just targeting the now buyers with different messaging and then moving them along your sales process, right? And the tool you use to do this information is the marketing of information. This meets the buyer where they're at is a huge effective strategy to start building your sales funnel and really getting people who are interested or just looking or researching about what it is that you do for them to become interested in doing business with you. And this is what the majority of businesses aren't targeting. This is where the 99% of customers are, where the majority of businesses aren't marketing to them. So this is a huge potential for anyone. Okay, so let's take a look at a website for retirement advisor, financial advisor Gary. Where's the offer on this page, right? It's not the free consultation, because most people are afraid of free consultations, right? Because we think it's going to be a sales pitch as soon as we call. So where's this compelling offer? What is he offering me right now that's going to move me down the sales process that we just talked about? And it's actually going to meet me where I am, right? If I'm not an active buyer right now, I'm just shopping and looking, I'd much rather prefer to come to Gary's website, maybe perhaps download a free copy of his book or his white paper versus, having to pick up the phone and actually make a phone consultation right now. So here's another one of a chiropractor. Where's the offer, right? They just have the number on here. Again, they're missing out on that big number, the 99% of people that are not now buyers. Okay, so we need to be thinking about not just appealing to the people that are the less than 1% that are now buyers, right? So tactical marketing only appeals to the people that are now buyers, right? Like the call me right now, or the fill out this contact form, or even like make an appointment right now. That's only the 1% of buyers. And so if you don't have marketing messages that's really communicating a compelling messaging to the 99% of all the other people that are not now buyers, then you're really missing out. So here's another example of a doctor down in Naples, Florida. So this is a great example of what we call a squeeze page, okay? So you just need to think about, what are the offers or what is the information that you can share with your potential future buyers to earn their respect. So to demonstrate your value and get them to want to do business with you over time. So in this example of a squeeze page, a plastic surgeon provided a free eye-opening report. It was basically candid answers about mommy makeovers, right? So if I'm thinking about having plastic surgery, I'm definitely putting my name and email address in there, right? Because I'm not ready to call yet or make an appointment right away. I need to be nurtured through the process a little bit. So the eye-opening report is very valuable. That is their offer that engages with the 99% of the non-now buyers, right? So these are the results. The cosmetic surgeon, once they implemented the free report idea, His previous conversion rate was zero. You know, I mean, nothing was actually converting on his site. So once the report got up, we put up his quiz page. The conversion went up to 67%. So people that visited the website actually downloaded the report. And then from the people that downloaded the report, he was able to convert 8% of them into actual patients, right? So this ad now is generating 500 prospects per month. The 67% conversion rate is now generating 268 new leads for the doctor. So then his 8% conversion rate is now generating 32 new patients for an approximate $600,000 in monthly revenue. Now, this is the power of really focused marketing, right? And the marketing formula that we went over. So again, so you're starting, you know, you see how you can move your prospects along the buyer's journey, right? And that's with information, which is extremely important. So I hope you start seeing now that this can financially really transform your business if you just pay attention to these 5 things, right? Creating leads, yes, right? But then you got to convert those leads into actual people that are interested in doing business with you. And then you got to nurture them with information to meet them where they are to improve your conversion rate. So again, another little check-in. So let me know in the chat, you know, it could be yes or no, you know, like if you can see how information offer would increase your conversions, right? So, you know, so if you think, you know, you could apply something like that in your business. So before we continue, write this down though. The secret to converting leads is to write a compelling offer. I mean, it's pretty exciting, right? So lastly, we're going to be looking at profits. How do we skyrocket profits and dominate markets like yours, right? So let's take a look. So because of the saturation of marketing messages these days, you know, it'll take about touch points, about 100 to 200 touch points before a prospect makes their buying decision, right? Or buys what you're selling. So following the conversion equation, which you know, you all saw in the beginning, this reduces the touch points to somewhere between 5 to 12 points of contact. Most businesses don't follow up with their prospects at all. And this is a huge, huge window of opportunity for any business to position themselves as a dominant force in the industry. And the easiest and the fastest way to develop these 5 to 12 touch points is through email drip campaign. Once you automate this, this becomes a system that runs on autopilot for you. So let me show you an example so you can see how powerful this can be for you. So this is a template of a doctor's original website we helped down in New Mexico. So these were the results he was getting. He was getting about 300 leads of traffic, right? So average about, it was about 30. So about 10% of the people were called to ask about the consultation. And then about another 10% were consenting to the consultation. So about 3 became new patients, which is pretty typical. About 1% conversion rate is pretty average. So this is what we developed for him after we applied the conversion equation and applied a compelling offer. So he was getting the same traffic. He was still getting 300 leads per month. We didn't change that at all. But now 60 requested the offer, right? So his conversion rate was higher because we applied that conversion equation. So we're looking at now if his conversion rate stayed the same, so about 10%. So he was converting the same amount of people. So on average 6%, or average 6, I'm sorry, had consented to the consultation and all became new patients, right? So he had about an average ticket for the program that he ran for his clients was about $800. So what he saw was $2,400 per month. And for him, that was a 28,800 annual revenue increase, right? By applying what you just saw in the presentation. Now, let's take a closer look at those 300 leads though. So let's say 300 leads came to the website, right? 60 opted in for the free offer. 6 became clients. This means that 54 qualified prospects did not engage in services, right? Yet. Now let's take a closer look at those 54. So the 54 prospects came in and we put them all in a nurturing drip campaign. So let's assume that two became clients, and that's an additional two clients, right? So let's take a deeper look at all the prospects that the campaign generated for him for the first year. So this is what it looked like over the course of 1 year. So over the year, there were 3,600 prospects, and we put them all in a nurturing campaign. So this resulted for the doctor 156 new patients that would have never converted, right? Because if we didn't have that nurturing campaign. So by month 12, the doctor would generate about 30 new patients every month. The doctor ended up partnering up with a local doctor just to expand his office because he had so many leads coming in. And again, sometimes because the problem where they can't handle all the customers, right? And they have to turn them over. So write this down. So the secret to higher prices is really implementing a automated drip campaign. So I hope you've seen how small incremental gains in just a few areas of your business can really truly transform and really help you hit that seven-figure business real easily. And if you're like, you feel like you've been drinking out of a fire hose, just now, and I provided so much value, you just need some help sorting through it all for what it means for your business. I'm here to, again, provide massive value to you. So one of the biggest problems sometimes is going to a workshop like this and not taking action, right? So talking to Hannah and Scott and with the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce. So for that reason, the Chamber really arranged that all of you receive some resources to assist you to implement these strategies because it's extremely important and it really at no cost to you. So the goal is establish a foundation to build your $1 million business. So the first, so you guys will have access to 60 days to the Business Online Academy. It's basically a week-to-week program that enables you to build those strategies that I outlined in the webinar. And then also a profit breakthrough assessment. So this is really to be able to see these strategies and how they impact your business. And then you'll get a couple of my books, How to Build a $1 Million Business, and then the profit secrets they don't want you to know about. Through COVID, I try to keep busy as soon as they shut us down. So I developed those books. You also get a custom business roadmap, and that's part of your Business Online Academy. And then you would have access to the Business Breakthrough Secrets Facebook group as well. Because again, what's really important is to be able to continue after this, right? Because if you don't do anything with this information, then your time was wasted. And someone told me a while ago, if you can never get your time back, but at least if you apply one thing, then that time was worth it. And really, if you total it up, that's really what my clients pay for a lot of this, bundled up. So, would you like me to show you exactly, how I can do this for your business? And really, it's just one step. If you go to findme50k.com, you just, click on the button. There's a bunch of stuff you can read there if you want. Answer a couple questions, and then we can see. Obviously, if you qualify, but obviously you will get all the bonuses as well. And now I really want to open up for questions because we do want to make this interactive. So I'm going to flip over. I'm going to turn off my sharing here real quick. See what I'm doing on time. All right, so we do got some time.
So, yeah, thank you, Juan. If anybody has any questions, feel free to speak out, or if your mic isn't working or you're not on, you can drop them in the chat and I can ask. So the floor is open for you guys.
I saw Yolanda had a question. Do you want to tell us your question, Yolanda? Or is she here or did she leave? I think she left.
No, I'm here. So I think one of our challenges is when I know that there is a new law that the state of California provided for small businesses to have some type of retirement plan for their employees. And when you approach that to the business owners, or they say, no, it's not real, it's not true. So, or, I don't have enough money for me to be able to provide to my clients because they're barely making it, for their employees. So they have so many obstacles financially because of the COVID. So they're not really taking action on that portion, or sometimes they don't believe that is something important. They don't see that as something important for them to start planning.
And that's a great question, and that goes back to, see, you know why it's important to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
All they see is my sales are down, or I'm busy. I don't want to spend more time or money, right, in something that it's in the future.
Yes.
So what you have to do is, it goes back to the buyer's journey. Where are they in the buyer's journey, right? They're not even researching it right now because it's not even a problem to them, right?
True.
So if you really want to address it, you really want to be able to enter the conversation that's occurring in their mind right now, right? Like, what's their fear? What's the problem that they're dealing with right now? That's how you're going to capture it, right? One of them would be, yeah, and it's CalSavers. CalSavers is going to hit a lot of businesses, like upside, it's going to be like a big whack. So for them, it's going to be education. But your message is going to have to be real strategic on meeting them where their problem is right now. Like, how can you help them right now? And a lot of it's going to be costly later, right? How to keep employees. Like right now, one of the biggest issues is people can't keep employees, or they can't find people, actually, right?
Yes.
So you can use it as a tool to be able to fix their other problem, if that makes sense,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Okay.
So really dive into the businesses that you're searching, because every business might have different problems. Try to find their problem, and again, address the problem that they have right now, give them a solution, and then CalSavers is part of that bigger solution, but they don't even care about it right now. Like, so,
Yeah.
but it is, but so that's kind of how you kind of get to the back door. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Cool, perfect. Good luck. Yeah, and let me know. I think it's a great opportunity right now, and there's a lot of businesses that really need to know about it. But everyone's telling them CalSavers, they don't know what the heck that is, right? So you got to educate them.
Exactly. Sometimes they like think that, like you said, they're focusing on making ends meet for that day, being able to have their business running, that they don't even want to think about anything in the future, like you said. And so, and then technology is another issue, that they're not familiar with the technology or Zoom, and so they're intimidated by that. And so that's another for small businesses that I've been able to see as a problem. So, little by little we'll get to them. But thank you for sharing your knowledge today.
Yeah, no problem. And if you got any questions, we can always touch base.
Okay.
So let's see. So I'm looking for, let's see. So I think, Joe, did you had a,
I think, Joe, were you able to get any of your questions answered? I know, if not, Juan, if you want to just kind of talk about, I know Joe had asked where you had gotten a lot of your data from. If you want to go ahead, I don't know if you hit on your background previously,
okay.
but if nobody like read the bio on the event page or anything, Juan, if you want to just go ahead and give a little bit of a background, and then that can kind of lead into how you collected all your data.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. So I've been engineer by trade. So I was an engineer for about 10 years, and then I started my first business in 2002. It was a plumbing and heating business down in Colorado. We grew it within 3 years from 0 to 5 million. Had about 36 employees, 13 trucks. It was a great experience. Ended up selling it to a public company, Comfort Systems USA. And then from there, moved to California, where I worked and consulted for pretty large firms, LPL Financial, turned around a couple larger mechanical companies, and just really started building. What I started seeing was kind of like those 5-step formula that these larger companies work on. That's what they use, and that's what small businesses, because like um, we were just talking about right now, small businesses. Yolanda was saying that small businesses are so wrapped up into their work, they don't have time to strategize. It's all tactical. It's all like Facebook ads, Google ads, right? But these larger companies that I work for, it's all strategy, right? It's all, they break everything down. So to answer your question is, between that experience and then working with like SPDC, so I did a lot of volunteering work, and I have a few businesses right now. I've been able to kind of collect what larger businesses have done and what makes them successful, and then apply it to good businesses, smaller, and then, to see what works or not.
Yeah, that's great. And I know I had one question because I know a lot of small business owners struggle with, you know, we don't have the marketing dollars to be able to invest in any sort of I even to put a lot of money into Facebook ads or Google ads or to hire somebody to come up with a strategy. So do you think that if somebody, a small business owner who's just really focused on their website and their social media can implement some of these strategies easily and be just as effective as say the bigger companies, I don't know, the medical companies or whoever else?
Great question. Absolutely. So what I tell people is I can find any business owner $100,000 in hidden revenue in 45 minutes without spending $1 in marketing or advertising. So your answer to the question is yes, absolutely yes. And in this book, I have, I don't know if you guys can see it. I got 8 strategies. None of them will cost you anything. It's all about messaging. See, the issue is with most people tell you got to spend money. You do, but it's like if something isn't working, you have to adjust it first, right? And then you add fuel to the fire. But so yeah, 100%. I mean, and there's strategies like in the book, and if we get to sit down together for 45 minutes, I'll find you those opportunities. There like the 3 that I covered today, Hannah, are like essential. And if you think about it, they don't cost you anything, right?
Absolutely.
So it's your messaging, right? It's your compelling offer, what makes you unique from everybody else. And I'll give you a huge example, Domino's. I mean, how many Domino joints, back in there's pizza everywhere. Domino's built $1 billion industry by their one little catchphrase, right? Either 30 minutes or less, or it's free, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was their market dominating position. So if you look at all these bigger companies, they have that. So we just got to bring that down to the small businesses, and absolutely, you'll definitely flourish in your business. And then the third one that we covered is obviously an email campaign, because you got to be able to stay in touch with them. And ideally, the first 2 don't cost you anything at all.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
Go ahead, Luis.
well, I got a quick question. One of the topics you touched was on identifying your market segment. What tools do you recommend to help identify and really narrow down to your niche market segment?
That's a great question. So the wonderful thing about today is like you have access to just about everything, like data wise. So one, you really got to look at your business and kind of see where, it kind of depends. If you have an existing business, you want to look at the percentage. It's kind of like the 80-20 rule that I talked about. You want to look at all your customers, right? Look at where 80% of your revenue is coming from, and then you will find that 20%, right? And then from there, you start narrowing down, like those examples that I gave you. Sometimes it's just women, sometimes it's men, sometimes it's both, right? So you really want to look at your business at the service, and then start narrowing down tool-wise. I mean, there's, what is it, like the Facebook Insights, that's really good because you can put your demographic of an individual and they tell you exactly what they're reading, what Facebook pages are they looking at. So Facebook is really good at that too. Facebook is a real good tool because you can actually even go into your avatar, like your media, and then or your person, and look at their likes and then their dislikes as well. There's a lot of tools. I like to use Facebook just because it's real time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Juan, quick question. It's Jose Gonzalez. I'm using that drip campaign. Everyone, do you suggest to put an marketing advice or something?
Oh, do I suggest what?
Like it's gonna be like every week or every?
Oh, that's a great question. So there's a strategy with email marketing. You can do it. It depends on your message. You can do 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes we get them from like 2 or 3 times a day from individuals, right?
Oh, wow.
Depending on the information, what I will give you is you want to give value. It's like the rule of 3. You give, offer. You never want to sell on every single email. So it's always value, and then like a soft offer, right? And you just repeat that. There is psychology behind it, but it's information, and then you tell them something about yourself. So how often you can kind of test it, right? I mean, a monthly newsletter is good, but I don't think it's frequent enough. People forget about you. So, I like to do sometimes 3 times a week. It really depends on like what I'm doing, like on the campaign. So like 3 times a week is good. Depending on your industry, maybe twice a week. But you just want to give value. Things like about Cal Savers, tell them, did you know this? Did you know this? There's no sales pitch in it. You're just giving information. But obviously you still want to be able to, put in some offer in there.
I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Cool. I know we're at 1:31 now. If anybody's got any questions or any more.
I'm muted. I'm sorry. I was talking. I'm
No.
muted. If anybody has any last minute questions, feel free. But I think at this time, what would probably be best is if you guys dropped your email so that we can get over the access information, or I'm sorry, the free stuff that Juan was offering at the end. So drop it in there so we can go ahead and Juan can send that over to you. So I'll give everybody a second to do that. And if you have any last minute questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to stay on the call if anybody needs anything else. But yeah, Juan, this was an amazing presentation. A lot of really good information. I want to invite everybody to attend next Friday's, the second webinar in the 4-part series. I did drop the link in the chat, but it will cover a little bit different information. So Juan, do you want to give a sneak peek of what the next one will cover?
Yeah, that one's really, so I have an MBA in finance. I worked about 6 years in Uphill Financial in a broker firm. I'm going to show you guys the 3 things you have to focus on your profit and loss and your financial statements. And I'm going to make it so easy that you guys will be, it's going to actually be fun. I'm going to make it fun, and I'm going to have you guys find money within your financial statements, within your business. But it's going to be really strategic. And depending on what business you are, you can actually use these tools to help your customers as well. Like if they say, you can't afford this or whatnot, you can actually use what I'm going to show you with your clients as well. But basically, essentially, is you're going to be able to find about $100,000 within your financial statements. And I'll show you how to read those financial statements.
All right, awesome. Well, we hope everybody can attend next Friday, same time, 12:30 to 1:30, January 22nd. So you can register on our website, or if you need the registration link, I can help you out with that too if you want to email me directly at the chamber. So I appreciate everybody coming and spending a little bit of their day with us today, and I hope to see you all next Friday. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
I have a comment. I don't have a question. I have a comment.
Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding today. I think everybody should give Juan a round of applause.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you,
I
Hannah.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Terrific.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.